you excited about for Inbound particularly? I mean, 20 conferences already. You get a lot of conference going on.
Yeah, so I'll make it a full circle moment. When I started in this role, the first conference I went to was Inbound, when they had Barack Obama and Viola Davis.
Wasn't that cool?
It was amazing.
It was the first time seeing him in person, and he's amazing. I mean, he's amazing.
So fast forward this year, 2 priorities. The first one is to get as many reviews as possible for HubSpot. So far we have around 1,200 plus reviews.
That's awesome.
And the second priority was raise money for the charity, specifically World Wildlife Fund.
That's amazing.
So already goal exceeded there. Now, I know the girlies are excited for Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
And you're with G2, right?
G2.com. I'm on the marketing team, by the way. I'm KP.
KP?
Senior event specialist.
And you guys have done an awesome job, not only with this event, but like in general. This is the G2 Wagon. It's all G2 reviews.
Yes.
So like we get some of our best leads from G2. So we're always like really thrilled to partner with you guys.
We're happy to see it, especially with our best software awards coming out. So tune in, lock in.
Ooh, I want vote for us, Kixie. Yeah, vote for us. And tell me, so like, what's I know everyone's talking about AI, and so it seems like an overkill thing. Where are you with AI? Are you terrified? Are you excited? Somewhere in between?
I'm not terrified. My big thing is still the in-person experience. As far as it pertains for our reviews, we don't accept like AI generated reviews.
Oh, thank you.
So if you'll see like online, there are blog posts that went out from our chief product officer and why we don't. So there's still authentic reviews, but AI helps with so many other things.
That's great. I mean, it's definitely one of the things with how much content is being generated, it's harder and harder to like sift through it and get to like the good stuff. So that's true for like search results. I try and search for something. Half the time I search for something and then do space Reddit or something because I can't find a search result. Same with reviews. I try and search something. If I just search reviews for any competitor, it's like a bunch of sponsored nonsense. You know what I mean?
You want to get to the truth.
So you have to do like reviews space G2 or something like that if you want to actually get legitimate reviews. So that's really cool, dude. That's cool. And what's something that people aren't talking about? Because they're talking about AI all the time, everywhere you go.
Yeah, I would say they're not talking about getting a live experience of connecting with your folks. Yes, LinkedIn is amazing, but I literally got to this conference and people are like, I remember meeting you 2 years ago, giving me a high five. So really that in-person experience. What else aren't people talking about? Just globally, how we're impacting everything in the ecosystem.
Totally. Yeah, so. I think in-person is really cool. Like I will say, I think we got too accustomed to doing things remotely. And like, it does work. It checks the box. Is it optimal? No, it's not optimal. Man. It is so much nicer to connect with people, like real life people, you know?
Versus sending all those emails. And it's like, I hope they respond. I hope they respond. But if I catch you in person, you see these bright nails, you're coming in.
The nails are why I brought you back. I saw you yesterday and I was like, we got to interview the nails if nothing else. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Really, it was you texting with the nails. Because I saw you, it's like, it's this adept kind of like dexterity thing where like you're not using like the flat of your finger, but like the kind of 45-degree angle. It's clever. It's really cool, dude. You have to make a tutorial or something like that. It's really
Thank you.
It's pretty sick. And what's like why HubSpot? Because obviously G2's huge. You guys are everywhere. You've done 20 conferences already. You can be at any conference in the world right now. Why HubSpot? Why Inbound?
Okay, great question. Actually, HubSpot is one of our partners. So the partnership, there's that commitment there. The second side of it is we've done it 3 years in a row. So we've been perfecting it. Last year, we were able to get 350 reviews. This year, we tripled it in one day.
Oh, that's amazing.
So on both ends, it's benefiting of us. They are filling our marketplace.
That's awesome.
And we are getting that in-touch experience with them. So I
love it.
That's why.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you've been in Boston for Inbound. Have you ever been to Boston for anything else?
No,
me neither.
Not at all.
This is what drives me to town, is literally this conference.
And it's pretty interesting. Not many of our customers have events in Boston.
Yeah.
So Vegas is the #1 spot. California, of course. So I think it makes them unique by having it here.
Yeah. How did you get into event marketing? Because that's like...
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been at G2 for 5 years. I started on the HR side of things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I used to do our diversity, equity, inclusion, and philanthropy.
Yeah.
And I'm just a people person. You can put that skill at anything.
Yeah.
I applied for the role. My first event was Inbound, and bam,
Really?
2 years now in this role.
It's cool. I like that G2 is willing to move you horizontally within the organization. I think like a lot of times you get into a job and then you become kind of locked in.
Correct.
And you want to do something different. It's like, oh yeah, but no, we're going to hire someone with marketing experience.
Yeah.
Like that sucks, you know?
They're really big on nurturing the talent. And it's also big on like advocating for yourself too. Like I didn't go in saying I could do everything, but I said I was open to learning.
Yeah. You seem like a self-advocate. You seem outspoken.
Yeah, I would say so.
How did you learn that skill? A lot of people that watch this interview are not used to advocating for themselves.
Yeah.
How do you build that?
I mean, but advocating doesn't always mean verbally. So written skill set, if that works for you. But I think the biggest thing for me is one, being a woman of color.
Yeah.
So I'm really big on saying, like, how do I put my best foot forward? That is with my personality and my voice. And then my mentorship has also been good in making me feel more confident and leading with that.
That's cool. Did you have mentors like that kind of took you under their wing at G2? Or?
Yes, I had 2 mentors. My first one was Sarah Rossio, our Chief Product Officer, because I wanted to be able to cross-collaborate.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand product, and so just really breaking it down on a personal level.
That's cool.
And then
were you working in office with her?
So at that time, we were actually virtual. This was at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
So via Zoom, but prior to that, we had already fostered a relationship in person.
That's awesome. That's one thing. I know I hire a lot of people, young salespeople for the company, and a lot of people request work from home.
Yes.
And for me as an employer, I'm like, oh, great. I mean, we can offset our costs. I don't have to have extra big office space. You can work from fully remote. But the real person who I think gets shortchanged isn't me as the sales leader. It's actually them as the rep. Because, like, sure, you make okay money right now when you're young, but most of your earning potential is between the age of like 40 and 60. Like that's when you really make your money. And to put yourself in that best position to make that money, you need relationships. You need mentors. You need to move up. And that's the thing you don't get remote. It's much harder anyway, you know?
I agree. I'm hybrid for the most part, working from home in Chicago, or I'm on the go at events, but I still go into the office if I need to help with like our mid-year meetup or a kickoff. And with that, I'm like, I haven't seen that face in a while. Or I'm like, I haven't met you before.
Yeah.
So agreed.
That's really cool. What's something you haven't gotten to do yet in your career that you are excited about doing in the future?
Oh, that is a good question. So I did get my certification for DEI, so I was happy about that.
Boom.
Oh, what's next up for KP? I'm not sure, and I'm not gonna fluff it either. I mean, I am looking forward to taking my sabbatical next year.
Ooh, what are you doing?
So 4 weeks. I definitely want to get some passport stamps. I haven't outlined it yet, but I think really leaning into that mental health side of taking time off.
Travel is really cool too. There's something about travel that like, I mean, it's important if you visit other places, but I think it's almost more important to come back to the place where you typically live with other perspective. Like, I think you don't get that if you're just in your own little, like, echo chamber.
They call it reverse culture shock.
Reverse culture shock?
Yeah,
I like that.
I used to live in South Korea, and so when I came back to Chicago, I put my handbag down and, like, walked away. My mom was like, someone's going to steal it. And I'm like, in Korea, I didn't even think that. They have CCTV and everyone's so kind. Yeah.
So tell me about that. Did you grow up there? Or what,
no, born in Chicago. I was in Texas in oil and gas, so it was at the time of a lot of layoffs. Yeah. And so either I was delivering the news to people about layoffs, or I was on the other end of it. Yeah. Right. And so with all of that, I wasn't happy within that space. And so I said, what did I always want to do? My degree's international business. Deuces.
Really? You just took off?
Yeah, I got my English as a second language certification, went to South Korea, went there for a year. So that's what brought me there.
Really cool, man.
Yeah.
What was the experience like?
Yeah, so I was on a small island. It's called Gojedo. Okay. And Gojedo is a lot of blue collar workers. So Samsung, which y'all may be familiar with.
I've heard of them. Small company, right?
That's where that is where they are headquartered. So, and then me of having my melanin, it was a shock to them.
I was gonna say, you probably are noticeable there.
And my height.
I was gonna say, how tall are you?
5'8.5".
Yeah, so you're dominating over there. Yeah.
But I think regardless of culture, like language barriers or not, like again, like the heart speaks. People just like for you to make an attempt, even if it's a wave.
Yeah, totally.
Even if it's a smile, even if it's an annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it a lot, which still helps me now with like my people skills with others from different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you speak any Korean before you went over there?
No, I did not. Not at all.
How did you make that decision? Like South Korea of all places, you did not pick an easy place to adapt to.
So anything where you're looking for a job, you look at what you're looking for. So compensation, safety, and community were my top 3 things.
Ooh.
And so I compared it by country. Asia was the most competitive for pay. And then I already knew someone in South Korea. And so that's why I went there.
That's smart. You know, it's so funny. I think a lot of us, I spend a lot of time, if I want to buy something, a headset off Amazon, I will spend hours and hours like looking at reviews and comparing headsets and going on YouTube and watching reviews. And But I look for a job and half the time it's like just go on ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, just apply. It's crazy how little time people put into those kind of that evaluation phase for something so big.
Agree. I remember sending out my resume a lot, and thankfully now I'm more selective, like who has my information.
Yeah. So what do you look for now when you look? Not that you're looking for a role. G2's been amazing, but what do you look for?
Culture.
Yeah.
Culture being the number one. Compensation still is there for a priority. And then I would say like work-life balance. Others may say work-life integration.
Yeah.
But those are the 3 things.
How do you evaluate culture? Because culture is one of those things, if you ask them, they're going to say, oh, we have the best culture in the world. It's amazing. Everyone loves work. You know what I mean? They bring their kids in here every day, dog-friendly.
Agree. So one thing I look for is what does the community look like for my identity? So Black, LGBTQ, women, right? And so that may be public information of like their demographics.
Yeah.
It may be me seeking someone that looks like me on LinkedIn and reaching out to them to say I'm curious.
That's smart. That's smart. So you just go directly, go find some rep who works at the company and just ask them their blunt opinion.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? As a hiring manager, we do that for our employees. We ask for recommendations and we call and do background checks. But the applicants don't do that very often, right? They're not calling. But
don't be shy. Yeah. Do not be. I think it's harder to find it out when you get there.
Well, dude, way harder.
Yeah.
Especially if you're leaving a current job for this, you're like, now you're committed. You're stuck. You let go of one branch to grab the next one.
Yes.
If that branch is a bad one, you're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Correct. And knowing your value, honestly.
Yeah, that's another one. When did you start to actually get a sense of your own value? Because I know I didn't until much later in my career. You know?
So it switched from industry. So at first when I was in oil and gas, it was, oh, you're doing well. And I took that as that was my greatest value. I love words of affirmation.
Yeah.
The second phase of it is, how are you compensating me? How are you trying to mold me, whether it be mentorship opportunities? Who are you saying my name to? Who are you advocating me to? And I get that a lot more in tech.
You're saying we can't just use friendly words more? I was hoping we could just compliment you enough.
You can, but is that coming in a recommendation? Is that coming at my time of promotion?
I see. You really actually, you're gonna actually, what kind of action are we taking based on these words?
What's tangible from that?
Yeah,
right?
I like that.
So,
that's good. What's advice to people who don't yet know their value or skill? How do you kind of determine? Because obviously you're pretty outgoing, you're pretty personable, and you found a way to leverage that into a career.
Correct.
How did you discover that? How should someone go about discovering where their unique strengths are, superhero qualities?
There's a few, of course there's assessments. So one big one for us is a DISC assessment. Okay. The other is an Enneagram. So for me, for the Enneagram, I'm a helper. I lean into knowing what's the strengths, but also what's the cons in that. Totally. So I've shifted now. I'm still a helper and understanding of that, but now it's for performance improvement. How do I get my team to help me? Especially since I have a team of contractors who help me at these different events. So assessments help. Having a community that you can trust, my mentors, my previous managers, and them being honest with their feedback. Yeah. But also being open to feedback. That was a little hard for me at first.
It's tough. Helper is a dangerous, it's a great one, but it's also a dangerous one too, because I imagine you get a lot of people needing you for help, and it's tough to find the space to actually ask others for help, you know what I mean? Or to make sure at least you're prioritizing yourself a little bit, right?
It's how do you scale that help? Yeah. For me, if I'm working with 43 plus customers, I can't tell everyone yes, but I can have a slide deck that's ready that says yes plus. Here's all the info.
That's great. Yeah, it is. I think that's true in general. I think if you're a great individual contributor, you yourself have an amazing skill set, it's tough to then break the mold of just doing it yourself and then trying to find a way to empower other people to do it. Because they're going to start off not as good as you, and you got to give them the space to get better, I guess.
And don't be selfish with sharing your talents. It's never going to be me like, I want to have all the light in the room. Like, I want all of us to be lit, like literally.
Totally. I love it. What's a question that you wish I'd asked that I did not ask?
That is a good question.
Yeah, this is the way I delegate questions.
I guess after leaving from the conference, like, what's the way to re-energize?
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do? What's your plan?
Oh, what is my plan?
Especially after this will be conference 21. What the heck are you doing?
I am going back home. I'm getting rest, and then after that rest, my partner and I are gonna have a good weekend. We're gonna enjoy Chicago. We're gonna do a Chicago architecture tour on the boat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's how I'll get re-energized.
I love it. It's been awesome talking to you.
Likewise, David.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Was that easy?
Yeah.